Did you guys know that Freud in German means happy and Berg in German means castle? If you put those two together, you get a happy castle. A happy castle is exactly what the amazing husband and wife duo made, Mr. and Mrs. Freudenburg. Their classrooms were always a happy castle. The Freudenbergs have taught in schools in Papua New Guinea, Nebraska, and Simi Valley. And then they settled here in Yreka to finish out their last 31 years of teaching. Mr. Freudenburg has taught hundreds of math classes, put me through pre-calc, and Freudenburg, I'll never like unit circles. Mr. Freudenburg has also coached volleyball, basketball, tennis, and has played such a huge role in the musicals that our school puts on. Mrs. Freudenburg was the one who put together Yreka's adult school back in '93. And since then, in the past couple years, has taken a role as a YO teacher, teaching all sorts of subjects. And Mrs. Freudenburg has also played a role in costume designing for the musicals. The Freudenbergs have made a mark on Yreka High School and will be missed greatly. It is with my greatest honor to welcome them today as our honorary speakers.
Test. Thanks, Jada. Well, here we are. The class of 2021, congratulations. You are survivors of perhaps the weirdest school year in history. You are truly remarkable class, and it is a privilege to share this day with you.
As Jada mentioned in our family history, in August of 1990, our young family arrived in Yreka, knowing no one but each other. We imagined we'd stay for maybe 5 years, call it a fun adventure, and probably move on. Anyway, on the day we arrived, the Siskiyou Golden Fair was in full swing, so we decided to go check it out. As we strolled our tiny children through the fairgrounds, we quickly realized that we were in no part of California that we had ever known before. There were kids everywhere in these white and green uniforms with cows and sheep and pigs in tow. Country music blared, smells of cotton candy and curly fries filled the air, and there was this mechanical bull thing that people were actually riding for fun. We even witnessed a fist fight, which was a little scary for us city folks. Anyway, we were strangers in a strange land, and at that point, we wondered what kind of adventure we'd gotten ourselves into.
Well, the next morning we were warmly greeted by then Principal Larry Perry, and our lives at YHS began. We soon felt welcome in our new community, and in no time at all felt completely immersed in it. Our 5-year plan ultimately became 31, and we stand before you today having spent a huge chunk of our lives in northern Siskiyou County at Yreka High School.
"31 years is a long time. So why did we do it? Why did we spend the bulk of our adult lives in a place where we originally had no ties and no roots? It is really because we have a sense of purpose, and our purpose is rooted in our faith. As followers of Jesus, we actually felt a calling from God to accept the position at Yreka High School, and as it turned out, He never called us away. One of our favorite proverbs from the Bible reads, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps."
Graduates, we believe each of you is a one-of-a-kind treasure. You are wonderfully made and stamped with the image of God. Each of you is important, and we believe our role as teachers has been to help you realize and develop your individual gifts. Walking through your senior project showcase last week, it was incredibly evident to us that each of you has significant talents and skills to offer this world. But how will you do it? Will you persevere? Being successful and making a positive contribution requires a sense of purpose. We are going to spend a few minutes talking to you about living your life with purpose, but first, we really need to talk a little bit about time.
As you learned in economics, you are given two resources to spend in life: money and time. You learned the importance of managing money by budgeting and saving. But there is one way that time is very, very different from money. You can save money, but you really can't save time. Time must be spent as you receive it. You wake up in the morning and you have a day before you. When you go to bed at night, that day is spent. The word spend literally means to use up. Time is precious because it is fleeting, and if there is one final lesson we want to leave with you, it is to think and act with purpose as you choose how you will spend the time that you are given.
And that's your economics lesson for the day. But now, let's do some math. In the last 4 years, you've sat in classes for approximately 5,040 hours. And many of you have probably spent an equal amount of time with homework, sports, drama, music, ag, clubs, and marathon bus rides. So, in the 23,360 waking hours available to you in the last 4 years, approximately 43% of them were spent on school. The point is, up to now, how you've spent your time has mostly been planned and directed for you.
What we are celebrating today is called commencement. But what exactly are we commencing? Well, this is a new beginning for you because on this day, you are being given the rest of your life to spend as you choose. Let me restate that. Today, you become the primary planner and decision maker in how you spend your time. And if you really stop and think about it, that is both exciting and terrifying. Your time is definitely worth spending with purpose.
So what is your purpose? That is something we want to encourage each of you to think seriously about. You are all going to pursue a lot of different careers and accomplish a wide variety of goals during your lives. And for each of you, that will be unique. But there is one purpose that ought to be common to all of us, and that is to love. We all have this amazing capacity to love, and we all know what it is to feel love. If you want proof of this, just recall the last time you felt someone acting unlovingly toward you or someone else. Instinctively, you know that isn't how it is supposed to be. We are all meant to love and be loved.
Over the years, we have found 3 guiding principles that have helped us to stay on course with our purpose to love well. They help us to choose how we spend our time, and we come back to them often. They are: love your people, love your work, and stay organized.
Let's start with loving your people. As a young teacher, I struggled greatly with self-doubt, and I really wanted my students to like me. I didn't think I could be a good teacher unless they really liked me. A few years into my teaching career, I realized that I had it all backwards. I figured out it is not so important that my students like me. What matters is, do I love my students? This realization completely transformed my classroom experience. My primary focus shifted from myself to my students, and my work became so much more satisfying. It made me a better teacher. I actually didn't learn this lesson of love in teacher school, but from the Bible. You may have heard a passage from 1 Corinthians 13 quoted at weddings, but this message about love was not specifically written just for marriage. It was actually intended for everyone in all relationships. Here's some of what it says.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered, and it does not keep a record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails.
Of course, Sue and I have never been able to love perfectly, and you won't be able to either. Often we have to pray for help and apologize when we know we have failed. But loving our people has become a guiding purpose in both our professional and personal life.
And speaking of professional life, it is also important to love your work. When people say they love their job, they generally mean that they enjoy being at work. It's so great when that happens, and I encourage all of you to find careers that energize you. But actually loving your job is really a lot like loving people. It's more about what you bring to the workplace than what you get out of it. It's about giving your best and caring about your coworkers and customers. It's about making life sweeter and more rewarding for the people who share your workplace. May I direct your attention over to the faculty and staff section here behind me. Here is a group of people who have loved their work with amazing dedication, especially during this pandemic year. Every day, this group showed up determined to give students the best they could under some pretty extraordinary circumstances, and to give you as complete of a senior year as possible. What a blessing and honor it has been to work with this team.
So, love your people, love your work, and finally, stay organized. Organization doesn't seem like a very lofty or romantic purpose. That's because it isn't. This is where the rubber meets the road. It takes what you mean to do and turns it into what you actually do. You will fulfill your purpose to love your people and love your work so much more effectively if you actually show up when you say you're going to show up and do the things you promise to do. We are not going to make you sit here on your commencement day and listen to how to get organized. There are roomfuls of books about this and hundreds of apps on these little rectangles we all love so well. However you do it, staying organized makes you a reliable person. And reliable people are simply a blessing to everyone around them.
So, that's what we have for you today. Time is precious and fleeting. Spend it with purpose. For us, the guiding principles for our purpose have been to love our people, love our work, and stay organized. Even though we're retiring, love is still going to be our main purpose.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. It is such a privilege to be commencing our retirement with this wonderful class. In conclusion, we leave you with one last quote from our favorite book, "Let all you do be done in love." And by the way, Sue, it's been awesome working side by side with you these last 31 years. I love you. It's commencement time. Let's do this.